relax the body, relax the mind, let go of all thoughts of future, of past. Just anchor yourself in that inner awareness of your pure beingness, letting go of all doing, resting in that being. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matrarupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Okay, now. So some inspirational words from Shloka 47-48. Purifying the mind of all expectations is essential for attaining evenness of mind. Maintaining this evenness of mind, samatvam, in daily life is yoga. Maintaining this evenness of mind in daily life is yoga. And one who has achieved this state is a yogi. So this is the understanding that the Lord has given. What kind of yogi is this person who has achieved that state of evenness in daily life? Ready? What kind
Jnana
of
yogi?
is that what we are discussing now? Jnana yoga?
No, is a karma yogi.
Karma yogi. Karma yoga. So this is so there is no such thing as a jnana yogi as such, but we generally talk about karma yogi only in the most of it. Or sometimes the Lord also talks about yoga in the sense of Raja yoga, bhakti yoga, and all that. Okay, all right. So now we are looking at the shlokas in our this one. So we have been talking mostly about karma yoga. Now we discuss this one point, letting go of all expectations of results. So that is one essence of karma yoga. So let us just summarize now. What are the other points that was given about karma yoga? Especially in the Shloka 47. What are the different aspects of Karma Yoga we have discussed? Anybody?
You have a right to act.
Huh?
You have
Okay. Jagdishji?
you have a right to act, not
Yeah,
for the
right.
result.
Correct. Okay. Kartika, yeah.
Rise above the gunas.
Rise above the gunas. Nistray gunyo bhavarjuna. So that is the goal, ultimate goal. But Karma Yoga, what are the other points? So, like you have the right to act, but not for the results. So, what is that called when we say right to act and not results? What should we give up when we are asked to give up results?
The attachment to the results.
Attachment to the results. Then what else? Somebody said.
Be free of the doership.
What did you say? Doership, is it? So kartritva, kartritva is a very important thing. So then what is the other thing? Kartritva is doership. Giving up results, enjoying the results is what? Giving up enjoying the results?
Bhoktritva.
Bhoktritva. Bhoktritva. So two things we have to give up. First, most importantly, we have to give up Bhoktritva. That is the first thing. Then following that, we have to give up doership. Doership meaning that sense, that attachment to actions, that I am the doing, or I am the one who's going to be doing this. That kind of attachment, we have to give up. So these are the different points. Now, one more point is regarding Bhoktritva. Which shlokas, preceding shlokas, talked about Bhoktritva? We'll just try to briefly summarize. Until now, which are the shlokas that refers directly to Bhoktritva? So we looked at now the shloka 47, right? So which are the shlokas before that which refer to Bhoktritva? Giving up Bhoktritva?
Is 44, Swamiji?
44.
Yes.
44 it says, Bhogeshwarya Prasakthanam. Those who are attached to Bhoga, to a lot of worldly kind of enjoyment. They cannot get Samadhi they cannot get. So that was mentioned. Then what else? Which are the shlokas?
43
Others,
also.
can somebody else also respond? Let us see. Everybody look at the shlokas. Try to look at the shlokas. Which are the shlokas, preceding shlokas we looked at, where it was said that we have to give up enjoyment of results.
Shloka 38 also.
38. What is
Treating alike victory and defeat, pleasure and pain, gain
yes.
and
Sukha
loss.
dukkhe same kritva, right? Correct, yeah. So there it was said everything should be taken with even-mindedness. What are the shlokas? Anybody else? Try to look at the shlokas and see. Know the shlokas?
43 is also there, Swami.
Yeah, 43 is also there. So all of you should try to get familiar with the shlokas. Okay. See there, what is the meaning? Again, it was mentioned. That which gives up the results. Okay. So this is something that all of us should try to do regularly. We should try to look back at the shlokas we have covered. Otherwise, what happens? We move on, then we will forget, and there will be no connectivity. We won't be able to connect it. We will just randomly look at shlokas. We will not get the deeper meaning of the shlokas, because each one is actually setting up it is setting up a next kind of foundation to go further. Okay. All right. So now let us look at this. So the mantra we looked at so far is that 49, where it was mentioned that dhurena vyavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanamanvicha kripana palahetavaha. Action done for the sake of results, for the fruits, is inferior to the action done through wisdom. So here also Karma Yoga was mentioned. So here is mentioned two fundamental points. If you act with the desire for results, then it is called as Sakama Karma. Sakama means your motivation to act is based on getting a goal. You will act only if you get this, or if you have to kind of do something to avoid some problem, then only you will act. So that is, if that is the goal, then you're going to be bound in that kind of ups and downs of life. But what is the higher path? He's saying that Buddha Sharanamanvicha. So the one who takes refuge to this means of action guided by wisdom. When we say the action guided by wisdom, what is that action? What is this which is guided by wisdom? What actions is he referring to which is guided by wisdom? How is it different from other actions?
The Nishkama Karma.
Nishkama Karma. So only Jagdish ji is answering. I don't hear anybody else making any attempts. You should try to at least attempt, So the idea with our classes are that we don't have to always give the right answer. We don't have to be thinking that everybody should make some attempt to answer the participate. Then only you get the you will have. Otherwise, it will be just like a passive watching or some movie or something. You're just watching it out. Yeah, you will not benefit that much. Okay. All right. So now let us look at the shloka. So now the difference here is the Nishkama Karma, meaning the action that is guided by wisdom is actually Karma Yoga. But the general action that man does is worldly action. So worldly action is driven by desires. Karma Yoga, which is fulfilling one's duties. You do your duties. You're not looking for results. That is called as Nishkama Karma. That is guided by wisdom. So when you seek wisdom in this yoga, when you seek refuge in this yoga of wisdom, based on wisdom, so then it becomes what? Then it helps us to move towards moksha. It helps us to move towards jnana, knowledge. Okay. Now let us look at the following shlokas. The next set of shlokas. So you can repeat after me. So we will start with shloka number 50. So everyone try to refer to your own shloka book if you have, because this here may not have that kind of clarity. Okay. So let us look at shloka number 50. Please repeat after me. Buddhi yukto jahatiha
Yukto jahatiha.
jahatiha
ubhe sukrita dushkrite
Ubhe
sukrata
dushkrite.
duskrate
tasmad yogaya yujyasva
Tasmad
tasmadhyogaya
yujyasva.
yojyasva
yoga karma sukaushalam
Yoga
yoga karma
karmasu kaushalam.
sukausalam
karmajam buddhi yuktahi
Karmajam
karmajam
buddhiyuktahi.
yuktahi
phalam tyaktva manishinaha
Phalam
phalam
tyaktva
tyaktva
manishinaha.
manishinaha
janma bandha vinirmukta
Janma
janma bandha
vinirmukta.
vinirmukta
padam gacchantya
Padam
padam
gacchantya
gacchanamayam
yada te moha kalilam
yada
yada te mohakalilam
buddhirvyatitarishyati
buddhirvyate
buddhirvyate
sarishti
tada gantasi nirvedam
tata
tada gantasi
nirvedam
nirvedam
shrotavyasya shrutasya cha
srotavyasya
shrutavyasya
cha
shruti vipratipanna te
Shruti
shruti
vipratipanna
vipratipanate
yada stasyasi nischala
yada
asti nishala
samadhavachala buddhis
samadhavachala
buddhis
buddhis
tada yogamavapsyasi
Tada
Tada
yogamavapyasi.
yogamavaप्यस्यसि.
Okay, so now he's talking about that that what is that yoga which was mentioned, which was karma yoga, so but that is the yoga of what? It is the yoga of when you practice equanimity towards results, whatever results you get, you're practicing you are accepting that results. So now he says the one who is established in this wisdom of equanimity towards results, he also casts away virtues and vice. Virtues and vice meaning that punya and papa, that what you get has the, when you do result, when you do actions, there are two kinds of things you get. One is you get like adrishta phala. Adrishta phala, what is adrishta phala, everybody? Somebody say other than Jagdishji. What is adrishta phala?
Unseen results.
Then what is opposite to that?
Drishtapala, seen results.
Drishtapala. Drishtapala means something that is seen, that is known. So unseen results. That is what do we refer to when we say punya and papa? Is it seen results or unseen results?
Unseen results.
Why is it unseen results?
They can be both.
Can it be both? How can it be both?
Because the results of our actions, depending on the type of action that we do, will get good or bad results. But most of the times, we don't even see what the result will be. It's like unseen. We don't know what's going to happen. Many times we do know what's going to happen. If we did a bad action, it will have a seen bad result. We can anticipate a bad result from it. A good action, we can also anticipate a seen result for it, a good result for it. But sometimes we can't.
So generally, when we talk about punya and papa, which is called as merits and sins, we cannot see those results. We are not able to, meaning at least in the in our exact nature, we cannot see when we get it. We have an assumption that because I did this, like for example, if you're kind to somebody, so they will probably respond to you kindly. So that is kind of maybe what we can call as the seen part of that results. But actually, when you do an action, a good action to somebody, we don't know how exactly the result will come back to us. That punya, what we say, right? It is not determined so tangibly. We can actually fathom in our life and say that, okay, I do this and I might get a favorable result. So that is more like our assumption. So now one factor that we see is that one thing that we can know, seeing aspect is that there is a kind of a sense of peace, a sense of well-being in us when we do a good action. When we do that which we honor our conscience, or we are kind to others unselfishly. So there is a kind of a positive samskara, we can say, that is created, a sense of well-being that is created. But if we do a bad action, somebody, to somebody or something, so there is a little agitation that is caused in the mind. That kind of, it leaves behind a clear impression. And most importantly, when we do good and bad actions, the results may not even come until next life. So that is the reason why it is generally called as adrishta phala. But anyway, the point here is this, that what he's saying is that whatever results we are going to get and whatever impressions, whatever kind of mental state we are going to get, based on that action, that also the person is not attached to. I'm not doing it because I want to feel good or because that I want to avoid this one. So then we may ask, from a worldly point, there's nothing out of it you get. What is the point of all this? So the point of all this is you are doing it because you want the purification of mind. That purification of mind has tangible factors. What is the tangible factors in getting purification of mind is you are going to progress in your life mentally and spiritually when you get this. So that is what we say, that is the direct benefit. So now this point we missed out, actually, the shloka we missed out. No, actually, that's the thing. Sorry, we are looking at this only. So now he says this point. Buddhi yukto jahati ube sukruta dushkrute. Sukruta meaning like some favorable kind of impressions it is causing, favorable reactions from the world, or unfavorable reactions from the world. So that also you don't care. Tasmad yogaya yujyasva. So you should do that yoga. What yoga you should do? You should continue to act without seeking results. So this is what Arjuna is said. Arjuna was afraid that he will get sins. If he fights the war, he was afraid he'll get sins. So he's saying that don't care about that. Don't worry about that. You do your duty. Your duty is what you have to do. Like let's say there is some judge somewhere. Somewhere he has to maybe there is someone has come, some criminal lady, let us say, that lady who is a criminal, she has done some bad act or some killed somebody or something. But she's a single mother, let's say, she has a child. So the judge kind of cannot say, okay, I will let you go because you have a child, right? He has to sentence her. He's not in a position there to show compassion. Some degree of compassion maybe he can show in terms of giving some allowance for her to meet the child and all that. But that basic punishment that he cannot let go. So in that sense, our life is like that. Our duties are like that in our life. Whatever duties we have to do, we have to fulfill those duties wherever we are placed, whatever is our duties. So we cannot kind of be caught up in in this punya papa. What will I get out of it? And what is this called? This is called as kaushala. What is kaushala means? Kaushala means working skillfully, knowing how to function in this world skillfully. What we nowadays people use the word, it is called as life skills. How do you go about living your life? How do you function in this life? So here, from that spiritual context, how do we go about doing all our transactions with people in our life? Are we doing it skillfully? No? Like if we are doing it based, like I do something and I'm having expectations. If this person does not fulfill my expectations, then I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not going to, do anything with him. So especially if you have a business, you cannot do that, right? You have to do what is right. So similarly in our life, if we are learning to work skillfully, then we do what we have to do. We don't care how people respond, how much positive or negative response we get. We don't pay much attention to that. We train ourselves with that. So this kind of training is yoga. So here first, what was the first definition, earlier definition that was given for yoga? Anybody?
Skill in action.
That is now. What was given before?
Evenness of mind.
Evenness of mind. Samatvam was mentioned. Samatvam was mentioned as yoga. So now the definition is that working skillfully or functioning skillfully in this world. So when we talk about skill, what is the skill? This is not the skill of like something you're doing like in terms of if somebody is working with some carpentry, from wood or something, you know. So they have the skills how to work with that wood. Here we are knowing how to we work, function in the world. We learn how to function in the world. So this is the Gita way of learning how to function in the world. This skillful working here, meaning that working according to that karma yoga. That is a skillful way. So in the one of the Bhashya, Shankaracharya says, one who practices the science of work without attachment can get rid of both good and bad results, actions, reactions. So he calls it the science of work. What is the science of work? Working without attachment. For one whose consciousness is situated in the ignorance, whatever sacrifice, charity, penance, or austerity one performs, dana, yajna, tapa, and all that, all that one performs even for 1,000 years, they are of no avail. Meaning, even if one is doing dana, tapa, and all that, like if you're giving charity, but if you're giving charity, saying that because I gave this charity, people should recognize me, they should give me a seat, they should honor me, they should put my name somewhere, then that kind of charity is no use from our purpose, from the Gita purpose. So that is the way of working. So even if we are doing some help, some voluntary service, or some seva somewhere. But we say that these people need to recognize me, they need to give me importance. That is why I'm doing this. They have to do it how I want it. So that kind of thing is what it has no spiritual value. When you do it from that kind of a attitude. Okay. Now he mentions this yoga karma sukaushalam. Now he continues and say karmajam buddhi yukta hi palam tyaktva manishinaha. So what do the wise people do? So the wise people who are endowed with wisdom, what do? They abandon these fruits of action so that they can go beyond this bondage of birth and death. Meaning they are free from all kinds of suffering. They become free from all sufferings. How do they become free from all sufferings? How do they free themselves? What does this mean? This means they are freeing themselves from samsara. So here a subtle point is mentioned. When we do karma yoga, what is happening is we are not doing karma yoga to get some even spiritual gains, like we want to go to heavens. There is all a religious perspective. From our Gita perspective, we are not doing karma yoga just to go somewhere. We are doing karma yoga so that we may have the purity of mind and get that supreme knowledge. And when we get that supreme knowledge, what happens? We are free from samsara, all the problems of samsara. So this the ultimate padam he mentions, the word is mentioned in the shloka. The padam gachanti, ayanamayam. That what is that state? It is that state which is free of all sufferings. So we call this as a non-dual realization from our perspective, which means like you are one with that supreme consciousness, that pure consciousness. And from a dualistic perspective, religion perspective, you go near to God. You go near to that what is called as sayujya mukti or salokya mukti. You go to where the Lord is. So this point is mentioned here. Now the shloka 52, another point comes. Yada te moha kalilam buddhi vyatita rishyati. So when there is moha kalilam, when there is the impurity of delusion, when our intellect is tainted by this delusion, what does it make us do? That when there is that impurity, then we get caught up in the world. We get caught up in all the notions of the world. we are trapped in this what we call this cycle of samsara. Our intellect is working only at the worldly level. Now we are caught up only in this transactional thing of the world. What do I get? What do I want? My needs, my demands. How can I? So this kind of an attitude, is endless. It is what is when there is impurity in the intellect, when we are deluded, what happens? We just think that my happiness is only in the world. Tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. So that then we get confused by what we hear or that knowledge we have. So our knowledge in the worldly level is very limited. And that kind of worldly knowledge will always create problems, will always create confusions. So what we hear, meaning even the Vedas, we are interested is that with that part of the Vedas, which will promise us results, which will promise us some gains. Many people like to do this different pujas, different thing, because they get some worldly results from that, or their it will help them in that, like a lot of you go to an astrologer or some priest, they recommend you do this, you do that. So this is the shruta. You hear about these things. You do this puja, this happens. You do that kind of thing, that happens. So there, what is it? You are looking at again. You're caught up in a worldly means. It is still that you are interested in some results in the world. My life has to become better. That is the idea. We are looking only at that from that perspective. So then what happens that our when that impurity of the moha kalilam, that when the delusion of that mind is gone, when we are no longer deluded, then what happens? Our ability to discriminate, to discern, that develops. What is this ability to discern? This is that ability to know what is real from unreal. So what is this moha? We talk about moha, the moha means that attachment or delusion. The moha means that we are caught up in things, thinking that the things and the people, they are permanent and they are our own self. This is the idea. See, when we take somebody close to us, what is the idea? We think that that person is almost myself only. So, but in reality, your own body is not yours. So this is where we are deluded. Our own body is a creation of nature. This body is not. We have confused and we got in deluded, and we identify with the body. And we identify with others, like our family, our children, our other people. We get attached to those things. And then when they don't do, or they're not near us, we get deluded, we get upset. So this is where, this is the moha. Moha means that delusive attachment we get caught up with in the world. And things also, we are attached to things. Why? Because we think that this will bring us happiness. So our problem in the world is that we think that the outside things will make us happy within. All those objects that are outside will consistently and permanently keep giving me happiness. So this is the greatest delusion. Moha, moha kalilam, impurity of the impurity caused by delusion in our intellect. Then this comes because we hear different things. Even if you look at different, lot of spiritual paths, except certain non-dualistic spiritual paths. Most spiritual paths are there to promise you of worldly happiness only. Some way or the other, some kind of happiness, everybody promises. And those who are there, who are more and more popular, are those who promise more worldly things. So this is where, we have to have our discernment. Can we really find that kind of happiness in the world? Of course, the idea is not that we shouldn't strive for happiness. Our idea of happiness should be that state of mind. When we stop depending on people and things to make us happy, then we reach that state where we're inwardly content. That kind of happiness is okay. That is what we are, as spiritual sadhakas, we are interested in. Okay. Then the last shloka we looked at, Shruti Vipratipannate, Yada Styasyasi Nischala, Samadha Vachala Buddhis, Tada Yogam Avapsyasi. Shruti Vipratipanna. So this word here literally means that when Shruti means the Vedas. When you are confused by what the Vedas have told you. When you're no longer confused by what the Vedas have told you. So we may ask, how can I get confused by what the Vedas tell me? So here actually there are different perspectives. From the Shankaracharya perspective, he's talking of karma kanda. When we talk about Vedas, Shruti here, it is a karma kanda. Karma kanda means those rituals, rites, pujas, everything people do, so they are based on, there is a means and an end there. You do this puja, you get this result. You do this yajna, you get this result. This is an idea. Like you don't have children, then you do this yajna. You get. So this is how the earlier portion of Vedas are. So their ideas are very divergent. One will tell you do this, one will tell you do that. So you will get confused in that. That is one perspective. Ramanujacharya says that Shruti means, here not Vedas. He's saying that here Shruti is not referring to Vedas. It is just things that you have heard from other texts. You might have heard here and there. And that is confusing your intellect because it is not talking about Atma. It is not talking about yourself. So you get confused, he says. Then Madhvacharya has a different perspective. He says Shruti Vipratipanna means not being influenced to act based on seeking rewards. Meaning that karma yoga you are not doing. You are going by sometimes the Shruti Vedas will say one thing one time, another thing another time. That is based on who it is referring to. The adhikaratva. Person who is not fully qualified, they will give a lesser teachings. Person who are a little better qualified, they'll get higher teachings. So you will see this even in Upanishads sometimes. Sometimes there is talk of Saguna Brahma. The Lord who has form, even in Gita, you will see in the 10th, 11th chapters, the vision of the Lord is mentioned. The Lord encompasses everything in this world. In the mountains there's a Lord, in the river there is a Lord. So that kind of idea is also given there. But at the same time, then it talks about that one supreme reality beyond this world. This world itself is unreal. There is something higher than that. That is the ultimate reality. So now we will get confused. Are you talking about this? So you will see a lot of Arjuna's questions will come in between. He will say, now you talked about this manifested Lord, manifested God, and now we are talking about unmanifested God. Whom should I worship? And he will also ask question, sometimes you say knowledge is superior, sometimes you say action is superior. So see this kind of thing, there's confusion. Why does it come? So from a very basic perspective, the confusion is because we don't have that capacity to abide in that knowledge. So our own mind, has different notions. Especially there are two strong notions. One is called as asambhavana. Asambhavana means when something is pointed to us, something higher is pointed to us. We have faith in lesser things. We will not take faith in the Shruti directly. So if somebody is promising lot of, magic, miracles and all that, we feel more drawn to that. If somebody is saying that, no, you should aim for just that peace of mind, that purity of mind, and get that supreme knowledge, we may not get that convinced. Why should I do that? So this will not help me, that will help me. So this is asambhavana. I don't believe, I won't take the reality. I still want a lesser reality. This is asambhavana. Then there is a viparita bhavana. I already have certain notions. We say like dirty pot, if the pot is already dirty, you put water in it, what will happen? The water will become dirty only. We already carry notions with us when we come to study, when we come to the teacher. Then we are not able to imbibe that truth. So a person who is come to learn Shastras should have that purity of that mind and that willingness to accept the higher truth and not compromise to the lesser truth. So this is the idea, when the mind and the intellect is pure and has that supreme goal, it wants that supreme happiness, then it will not be distracted by these seemingly conflicting teachings. Then what will it attain? It will attain samadho achala. It will attain that state of samadhi. What is the state of samadhi? Here, the state of samadhi is that state of abiding in that self. Atmanishta, abiding in one's own self. That is that samadhi here. This is not the yogic samadhi mentioned here. So in fact, starting from the next set of questions, Arjuna will start asking questions. So in this thing, he will ask Sthita Prajna. So what is the state of Sthita Prajna? How does he attain that state of samadhi? So there again, that is that supreme state. The first question there from Arjuna is that this is the most highest question. It will come from the next shloka. This supreme teachings of Sthita Prajna, which is one of the most eloquent discussions in between Arjuna and Krishna. Okay, so then he says, buddhis tada yogam avapsyasi. It will attain the yoga. So here again, what is this yoga? This yoga that will be attained is that the mind will establish itself in the buddhi, that realized knowledge of buddhi, that self-knowledge, that supreme knowledge of buddhi. It will abide in that. So the other thing is that sometimes why do we get confused is because our doubts are endless. If whatever you study, how many of our texts you study, there will always be some level of doubts. We will always keep having this doubt, that doubts, this doubts, and all that. But when we kind of take refuge in the Shruti, some Shastras, then what happens? Our worldly kind of vasanas, our worldly kind of thinking, that will we will start letting go of that. So part of the reason why we will always have this confusion, even if the Shruti tells us something, we will remain confused. This is because within us, we carry these deep-rooted worldly samskaras. And if anybody kind of gives us a very convincing answer also, for 1 minute we feel, yeah, this is right. But again, my previous thought patterns, my previous thinking, they will come back again, So sometimes I see even in students, they will ask that same question again and again in different ways, And Arjuna also will do the same thing here. You will see many parts of the question Arjuna has. He's more or less asking until the 18th chapter, he's asking like similar questions in different ways, So this is where, and each time the Lord will try to answer him in a different way to help him. So this is the dilemma of the teacher and the student both. So, okay. So the starting next class, we will look at the Sthita Prajna, the teachings on Sthita Prajna. Okay. Now, first, there is a couple of questions, but if anybody has any question, you can ask. In the meantime, I will look up those two questions that we are pending. Anybody has related to today, you can ask first, because these questions are related to Swabhava and all that. Okay, so I will take up these two questions then. The first, and there are two questions actually, they're both related. So the one question is that if sanskara is the reason for one's swabhava, swabhava is that innate nature. One's, so we discussed as one's vasanas, one's, conditioned patterns. So if sanskara is the reason for one's swabhava, can one bring about any desired change in current swabhava by changing current habits or accrue such sanskara has to get desired swabhava in future, next life? Okay, the other question also that was pending was this. I've been wondering if being able to visualize and recognize our swabhava is fundamental to purity of mind. So basically, you see that swabhava we discussed when we talk about swabhava, which is one's innate samskaras, one innate nature, our personality, aptitude, tendencies. This is swabhava. So why do we need to work in this? It was mentioned is because with the karma yoga vision, the idea is not that you are using those tendencies for sake of enjoyment or getting some kind of worldly benefits. Of course, you can use it to for your livelihood. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're looking at using that as a means to get artha and kama, those if you're that is the purpose, then those will increase your vasanas. They will kind of bind you more and more. But if you use it in a way that functions with your swadharma, see, swabhava and swadharma are linked. When you work you do your duties in line with your swabhava, then that swadharma is getting fulfilled. So ideally this is in the case of kshatriyas, vaishyas. So those are like warriors and business people. Their swabhava is what? Their swabhava is that business or that skills of being warrior. So they have to use those skills, those aptitude to do their duties. So then what happens if they do it with the karma yoga vision? So if they do their duties and they fulfill their swabhava with the karma yoga perspective, then what happens? That swabhava becomes purified and one fulfills that swadharma. So that is why we were saying, that swabhava done with that attitude of seva. Even though you're doing your actions, you do it with attitude of seva. Then it is the greatest purifier in the world. So you can continue fulfill your aptitude, if you are an artist, then you continue doing that, but you fulfill your duties. That is the idea. Now the question here is that we should try to recognize it. That is the point I'm saying. The more you are able to recognize it, the more you will be able to utilize it with the karma yoga vision. Okay, now the first question was, if the samskaras, meaning all your patterns, if they are your swabhava, can you bring about change in the swabhava? So absolutely, yeah, you have to bring about change in the swabhava. So like if somebody is a businessman, he's not going to be a businessman all through the life. At some point, he has to become a vanaprastha. So he has to move into the more like a Brahmin kind of a attitude. From a spiritual perspective, your swabhava is changing. It's constantly changing. It is not a fixed thing that you will have to do this duty for life. So this is where there is a there is no hope for progress if you are constantly stuck with one swabhava, right? So the swabhava will change. But the point is not that you want to get the desired swabhava for next life. Huh? Our purpose is not to have another life, you know. We want to be free in this life, preferably. So we want the supreme knowledge and be free in this life only. Huh? So the sometimes the way the Shastras does say, like you will come back in next life and you will have a very pure kind of a nature and you will take to the path of spirituality. All that it says to motivate us. But that is not how we should be looking at. If we should try our best in this life only to get that thing, so that we fulfill our swabhava, and that swabhava changes, we slowly start becoming a devotee full time. So we start becoming a jnani or a devotee full time. Then even though whatever we are doing, it doesn't matter then at that point. Whatever duties and action you're doing. And that is what the Lord will tell us. Sarvadharmam parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Forget all your duties and take refuge in me first. Then do as I say. So that is the point, you know. Our idea is not that, you know, we want to hold on always to our swabhava. That swabhava is utilized in the way of fulfilling our duties without expecting results. Okay, any other questions related or unrelated? Okay, so we will take up in the next class then. I think we will maybe we'll just basically the next 3 days, you know, it is the days for Saraswati Puja. So it is a auspicious time. Everyone, of course, you know, we may say that, you know, these pujas and all we discussed, it is not important. So here again, you know, whenever we do, we are doing it with the attitude of Chitta Shuddhi, not to get gains. So we do it more to so that we can get knowledge. Saraswati is the goddess of knowledge. Knowledge, we all need knowledge, worldly purpose. So knowledge is the most important thing. So we are seeking that wisdom, that reality. So it is all of us who are interested in the spiritual path, especially in studies, in knowing the shastras, in imbibing that spiritual teaching in our life. We should make that effort. I actually there was a manana. Just quickly, I will read that second manana. The first one, I think they will share it. The second manana, which we said, you know, is kind of a helpful thing to contemplate. It says that 52, 53. Has my mind attained a degree of steadiness on the path of yoga? Something that all of us can ask. Am I still unclear and confused on the path? See, the idea is that we can have doubts on the scriptures, but am I still unclear that this is the path? So then do I have a means to clarify my doubts? What is the means I use to clarify the doubts? Now, generally we say, you know, that the scripture, the teacher, these are the means through which we have to clarify our doubts. Otherwise, what happens? We will always hesitate on the spiritual path. We will be reluctant. So especially in our tradition, you are welcome to ask questions. There is nothing wrong with that. What is the primary refuge, teaching or teacher, that I seek refuge in? What is my primary source of refuge? Where do I seek refuge? See, many people, you know, when they have doubts and all that, they tend to ask somebody who is going to guide them from a worldly perspective. Of course, if you want to invest in stocks, you will ask some financial consultant. But if you want to resolve things on your life, your spiritual life, then you should go to the scriptures or to the guru. Am I feeling greater attunement with the inner principle of Guru through these external sources of refuge? So these scriptures and the Guru, what is their purpose? The purpose of teachers and scriptures is to shake us out of delusion. Confusion and challenges are part of the spiritual journey as we let go of our worldly thinking patterns and seek refuge in higher reality. As we thus progress, we begin to gain clarity on the path. So our external sources of refuge are so that we may connect to our own inner guru. That our own source of inner wisdom opens up through these external sources. Okay, let us say closing prayer, and I'll just say a prayer to Lord Saraswati as well as we finish today, and then we will do our Shanti mantra. Ya kundendu tusharhala ya shubhravastra ya veena varadanda manditakara, ya shveta padmasana, ya brahmachyuta shankara prabhutibhir devai sada pujita, samam patu saraswati bhagavati निःशेषजाड्यापः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति 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 ॐ स्टे